Hey guys. So I was walking home from the library. Omer only had to be in the bathroom a few hours today. I went to the library late. Won't be doing that tomorrow. I talked to my mom briefly. I'm sure she's grateful that even though I supposedly severed my relationship for good with her, I still called her and whatnot. Remember, because she's not yet at Auntie's, so. But I was right. I told her to talk. She has to go. It's so sad, people. She didn't even understand about, even though she was told, I told her. She just went in there with Auntie on Monday after they went, then they just to fill out a change of address. No. She did what I told her, and they're like, yeah, you gotta come in with your license. And then somebody was telling her, not the one that I had dealt with, the guy I had dealt with, the manager I had dealt with, that you only have a couple pieces of mail. I said, Mom, if they try to tell you only have a couple pieces of mail, you insist, you've held my mail for a month, junk mail, everything. There's no way in hell I have a couple of pieces of mail. I should have a whole pile of mail. I know for a fact that she has a shitload of mail. Maybe when whoever she talked to on the phone, she talked to a manager on the phone, but it wasn't the manager I had been dealing with. So that female manager was like, there's only a couple of pieces here. No, they must store the big pile of mail somewhere else, and you're looking at maybe today's mail or something. I don't know. But I half jokingly said, Mama, if you accept the absolute ludicrous statement that you only have a couple of pieces of mail in a month's time that they've held your mail, then I'm going to yell at you. I thought you wouldn't have anything to do with your mother. Now would probably be a good time to tell you guys that, so long as you're not calling me a vicious monster or something, I 100% welcome any and all of your opinions on this, your advice, all of you. I welcome it, whatever you have to say. I imagine a lot of you are at as much of a loss as I am. Even the people who have real insightful things to say still don't know, because remember, if I didn't love my mother, or if I just had been given up, fed up, whatever, there'd be no conflict. Yeah, damn well I'm going to get a lawyer, I'm going to be in that court, don't care if my mom doesn't want a stranger, I don't want Auntie, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and I'm going to make sure they don't lie through their teeth about me, but my heart breaks for my mother, and she's terrified, and you know, I was up in the library and that woman stopped, the Christian woman stopped and got me, and a lot of times when she takes me home from the library, because she's there and she's going home, or if she wants to go to the store, so I went to the store quickly, got myself some treats, Acma crackers, organic cottage cheese, and my addiction to Newman's Own organic peppermint cups. And incidentally, she's tried them, the dark chocolate peppermint cups. It only comes in dark chocolate, and then the dark chocolate Newman's Own Organics peanut butter cups. They'll come in dark and milk, I believe. Yeah. And she agrees with me, they're out of this world, but instead of getting a frozen dinner for $5, I decided to get some cottage cheese and Acma crackers for like $8. Something different. I also got my chocolate fix and a couple of waters. I should have got more waters, but I was trying to be real fast. She was only stopping in for bread, just one thing, you know. And she tries to do the organic and whatnot, and so she and I discuss all that crap. She's aware of all that, but as she pointed out, and she's right, but I make the conscious decision to basically eat beyond my means, because I'm poor, and like she said, it's really hard to do organic because it's just so much more expensive. And but Joe and I are of the philosophy that, yeah, it's more expensive, but in the end, you know, Joe hasn't entered a doctor's office in like 7 years, and that's what he told me, like a year, you know what I mean? He hasn't eat, so he's like, you know, my health is worth spending a fortune on organic food, you know. But he, you know, has a good job and works and whatnot, but still, the more you make, the more expenses you have. That's why the stars, even though they're rich, they have a lot more expenses, you know, and so maybe they wind up not being as rich as we think. I don't know. Anyway, I still really try to eat organic because my health matters to me, you know. So yeah, I welcome. You've seen me go back and forth. This thing was like the final straw. Me realizing, my God, my mother doesn't, I told her more than once that she's like a child. I don't want to strain, but it's going to, if it is going to court, and again, even that, my mom says that she doesn't really know, and it's just sick. And she couldn't come back here, so she thinks, and yes, Miss Selena, when I was talking to her before about getting a lawyer, she was saying stuff to me like, you're just going to cause trouble, Laura, and, you know, and the other yesterday, it was like, you know, you're not going to make me feel guilty. That's because I wanted to know what had happened at the bank, and I'm like, I'm sure you lied about me, and or she lied, Auntie lied about me, and you're not going to make me feel guilty because I wanted to know what had happened, and you know, she's trying to do right by me by saying that I can stay here, but she's wrong. I can't. She's wrong. Technically, I suppose I could. That's just not good. It is not. It's just not right. It's not right that I'm here in my mom's house, her home, while she's living with Auntie. It's just ridiculous. You know? If Auntie knew that my mother had told me you could stay there as long as you want, up in the air, as long as it takes for you to find a place. No, Mama, I have to get out of here. I don't know what to do, people. This latest thing left me so heartbroken, you know. And you wonder why, because it's just like another fucking thing, and I still don't even know the truth about what happened, and you know, I don't need it. I never even knew Auntie had checks, and then my mom's, both rent checks, it's November, December, it bounced, and how? I could see the November bounce, it's because the stupid woman didn't cash it in time, and she didn't cash it right away, and you know, that could have happened. But how the fuck did December's bounce, Mom? And some of you might say, well, why would this, because it's just the straw that broke the camel's back. It's just, I don't, and Auntie's up to no good, and she's just digging the pit for me. And I don't know what her intentions are, or what, I just know that it just hit home how easily my mom's fooled. I had her confront Auntie with all this stuff my mom agreed was true, and blah, blah, blah. And then Auntie had to adjust to her, and to my mom who's not going to question it, reasons for everything, and then it just hit home. It hit home, people. It hit home. I don't know what to do. I mean, you know Joe, he's going to be like, you need to get a lawyer, get your ass into court and just separate your emotions. You know, you just can't be emotional about this. Yeah, that's impossible. Okay? If any of you guys who had a heart were hearing my mother over the phone, terrified, you know, she doesn't want a stranger, and to her it just, you know, Auntie's helping her, and like she said, she's given me a home. That's what I had to hear yesterday. She's given me a home. But why can't you come back to your own home, you know? How can these hospitals and all these people decide you can't come back to your own home? Nobody accused me of anything. Probably because they know they can't. It's all hearsay. It's based on my fucking YouTube videos. I mean, it's like... that none of them would have known about it. Auntie hadn't told them. What do you think, Omar? I don't know what to do, people. I don't know what to do. I was so upset yesterday. Changed my phone number. Told my mom, you know, that's it. Me and Omar are going to be out of your lives for good, even if I have to prostitute myself to do it. I left that as a phone message, and the only one who called me was the lawyer, but I don't want anything to do with the lawyer, you know, who's not ordering me in a kind way, go get into therapy, you know, and I don't want anything like that, or to feel like I'm being blackmailed. You won't help me unless I go into therapy. That's not right. A lot of people don't even believe in therapy, you know. Her doing that doesn't make me dislike her in any manner, but I'm just all confused. I'm just barely hanging on. I wanted to tell you about Cousin. I am most definitely sad over that, what happened with Cousin, okay? But there are some things that happened between her and me in regards to her obsession over this thing with my mother and whatnot, that I'm not going to ever say out here, okay? But Joe and a couple of my YouTube friends, they know the truth. It pissed me off a little bit, but that would have never ended. That would have never had me, you know, shut her out. And the fact of the matter is, I blocked her on the emails, but I left her a couple phone messages telling her exactly how I felt, and if she was sorry, she could have called me. She didn't. She's not sorry. So, how about this, people? Because I know Talk Salad was like, well, why can't you, and Karen, why can't you just make amends with, because it's not, because I want you guys to think about this for a minute. This is not some long-time friend of mine. This is basically a new friend, somebody I just met. If I hadn't seen you since I was a little girl, or, I mean, not a little, but whatever. This is basically like someone you just met as a friend, thinking they're just gonna control you completely, or, you know. And when she was pushing me to go to the press and do this and do that and go in person to my mom's psychologist and have demand, you know, to speak to the, go over the psychologist's head, speak to the superior and demand, you know, that they help me get a restraining order against Auntie and get guardianship over my mother, etc., etc., and did everything she wanted me to do except go to the press. Did everything she was telling me to do, okay? None of that would have caused me to end my relationship with her. And again, I blocked her on email. She hasn't, you know, I didn't actually say I never want to speak to you again or whatnot. I just was disgusted with it all, you know. She was disgusted too, okay? But it affects me a hell of a lot more. I'm my mother's child, okay? So anyway, here and there she pissed me off. Particularly when she was making excuses for Uncle. This is when she didn't know that Uncle had turned cold and gone back to us. We didn't know that, and she was in good faith. She was making excuses for him and saying, well, you know, he has a lot on his mind and blah, 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 whatever, and because he was supposed to, she had called him immediately when we realized the mix-up at the HIPAA, and he was supposed to go and, on a Saturday, he was supposed to go and immediately fax over the correct stuff to them, and he didn't see it as a concern. And that pissed me off, okay? And later when she was talking to him and he was trying to say the seizure didn't even happen in that facility, basically he was being an idiot. And then she was talking about how I can't even get there, and Laura's not my concern. I don't even know. I don't really know Laura. You know, Smith is my concern, and that really hurt me. That didn't hurt me because I'm not close. It pissed me off, and she was making excuses for him. Well, you know, he has a lot of family things and whatnot, and maybe he's just. And she found out the hard way that no, he had whatever, but I had never trusted him to begin with. I'm just saying. That pissed me off because I'm doing everything she's telling me to do. I got pissed off when she was telling me, you know, because I wasn't doing everything fast enough or because I was scared and expressing fear. You know, you're really useless as your mother's healthcare proxy. I didn't like that. Okay, I didn't like that kind of attitude coming from her. But again, none of that would have caused me to get pissed and, you know, end things with her or whatnot. But in the end, when she was so quick to believe Uncle, who just called her up out of the blue after he'd been completely dissing her, completely ignoring her, even when she sent a certified thing to him because he ignored her the emails. She still didn't know the truth until it finally hit her when she never heard back from him. And then when I told her, you know, yeah, my mom told me Uncle and Auntie are going to visit her. Don't show up. Don't come. See how guileless my mom is. Don't come such and such time. Uncle and Auntie are coming to visit me, and then they're going to get, they're going to get me out. And then I put my foot in my mouth. No one can get you out. You've been committed. I haven't been, and then she wasn't going to talk to me. I was lucky she talked to me that Sunday, though, once she realized that they couldn't get her out. And she was in a talkative mood, and I learned all kinds of crap. And then subsequent, you know, that snowballed into everything else. But something else Cousin did I would never say out here. But like I said, Joe and a couple of my YouTube/email friends know about that. Again, none of this would have caused me to end things with her, okay? None of it would have. I was really pissed when she was calling Elder Services and telling me to go into any courthouse or whatever and push for permanent guardian conservatorship over my mother. Because my mom's too wishy-washy, and she's like, and my cousin was like, anybody's better than Auntie, and that's what she was doing. She was calling Elder Services. Obviously, she and I both called Elder Services when I told her about the bank by mail fraud and whatnot. That's when we thought Elder Services was on our side, okay? 100% against Auntie and on our side, and then learned otherwise. But as we've already pointed out, not even beneficially, like my lawyer says, in my shelter friend says, has anybody contacted you or anything? Why don't you just call them? And I can't do that. I'm just, oh. So I outright said to cousin, no, I'm not going to do that to my mother. Remember, I went to the courthouse, and when I was talking to free lawyers, they're like, you don't want to go in front of a judge like my cousin was saying to do, just go, say it's an emergency situation with the mail and the bank fraud, you know, and it all frozen, and who's going to, my mom could be in there for a long time, someone has to pay her bills, when it is an emergency situation, most definitely. But a lawyer says you don't want to go in front of a judge, even if you get flustered, you can't make your case, you can't go again for 6 months and whatnot. So cousin was pushing me to do that. And then I couldn't have stopped cousin, but cousin wanted me to go after permanent conservative guardianship over my mom, even if it was going to be a stranger. Okay, if they wouldn't give it to me, then make it a stranger, anybody but auntie. And I didn't even know it, but she also said the same thing to those elder abuse people. We don't care, anybody but auntie, point permanent. That's what, you know, that's what my mother needs, you know. She's wishy-washy, she's going back to her sister, blah, blah, whatever. That pissed me off. Again, I put my foot down with her. I'm like, I'm not going to petition for a stranger. My mom doesn't want that, and who cares? Anything's better, you know, and that pissed me off. But again, I wouldn't have ended my relationship with her. But the thing, when Uncle called, and then my cousin, who again, let's look at the facts here. She's like technically a brand new friend. Somebody I just met a few months ago. Somebody it was getting to know. She's not going to sit there when she has a husband and kids and whatnot and get on my case about doing YouTube. Alright? I didn't even have to tell her about YouTube. And I did, in good faith, and I confessed to her about that when my mom had just simply said, you know, she has a blog online or something. My mom didn't say the details. I told her the details. And I also told her how, this was weeks before, told her how important it was, and told her that I don't make any apologies for doing it. She knew at that time that I talk about my mother out here, because how can I not? I'm all cut up with my mother. It's my whole existence, okay? And then in the end, she had the nerve to be snide with me over the YouTube thing. To just in an instant believe the lies that Uncle was telling her, and to get on my case in general. You know, it's not helping us any. You constantly uploading YouTube videos. It's only giving them ammunition, you know, for this whatever, for their agenda. I don't care. Remember, this was on the email, on the message, and then I called her up and she laid into me a little bit, you know, and I wound up hanging up on her. And then I wound up leaving her a couple of emails, but I blocked her from responding. Because I didn't want to deal with emails, but remember, she's not blocked on the phone. If she was sorry, if whatever. And then I later left her phone messages, a couple of them. Again, she's never been blocked on the phone. My phone doesn't even have that kind of feature. You have to change the phone number. It's just a cheap, you know, phone, and there's no feature that you can block anybody. Okay, I found that out the other day, yesterday, and then I said, alright, then I'll just change the phone number. Okay? But yeah, all these things, including something I'm not telling you, definitely irritated me just a tad. I'm being sarcastic here. The thing where she was pushing me to, even if it's a stranger, it doesn't matter, permanent, your mother needs it, it's better than auntie, better than auntie. I told her I'm not going to do that. But she did call elder services and said, it's an emergency situation, we don't care who it is, do it permanent, blah, blah. That's what she was pushing for. Not me, but her. Okay? That pissed me off. That was, you know, but again, it wouldn't have. I hung up on her and got furious and wanted nothing to do with her, just be over the YouTube thing. Basically, this is a new friend. You're a new friend. I just met you. I'm just getting to know you, and you're going to sit there and judge me because my uploading videos is these assholes are watching them, and that's giving them more ammunition for what my lawyer later said would be impossibility anyway. Would never happen. They practically, you know, she laughed almost at me. She's like, it would be a conflict of interest. There's no way in hell Elder Services is going to petition a judge to make the social worker and the psychiatrist in that now she was locked up in permanent guardian conservatorship over her and sell her house and take all her money, etc., etc., and all this crap that Uncle had told cousin, and cousin had said to me over a message. And my lawyer's like, no, it's ridiculous, okay? But remember, my lawyer had the wrong number. She was calling this number on the healthcare proxy, and that wasn't my number, so I didn't hear. I didn't get to find out how ridiculous it was for 2 weeks, you know. When I saw her again, in the meantime, the baby was going crazy, believing it all, you know. And even agreeing with cousin, well, it turns out Auntie, you know, the lesser of evils. You know what I mean, people? This is not a case where this is a woman who's been a part of my life for all these years. You don't re-enter my life after 20 years, and I'm getting to know you and whatnot, and yeah, it's cool that we can relate to a lot of similar childhood experiences and whatnot, but you admittedly would never do something like YouTube, and you don't really understand it, but you're not going to sit there because of what Uncle says to you and then judge me and say, you know, well, you shouldn't be done this and you shouldn't have done that, you know. She's not going to do that to me, people. But she did. And if she had been sorry, she would have contacted me, but she didn't contact me all these, you know, she didn't contact me all these days, and I, you know, and now I've changed my phone number, so. Hug-a-lug. Came home, put him in the bathroom, ate. Fed him first. Took him out to pee-pee. And I ate. I think, Omar, should we do the old crash and then wake up? What's wrong? Mama dropped a bug, and Mama made a bug, and Mama went a bong, 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 bong. It's usually warmer in this room. But when I leave for the day, since he has a coat, his own, permanent coat, he doesn't need the heat on. He's a dog, he has fur, because my mom used to say about the heat or the air or whatnot. Should I leave it on that for the, you can, but I lower it when I'm not here. Keep it on 66. And I also keep it on that at night. What's up? What do you want? I fell asleep recreating this video and lost my train of thought, but I don't know what to do, people, but I meant it when I said I welcome advice, opinions, In the end, I'm going to do exactly what I want to do, but I like to experience different perspectives and whatnot. I don't know. 3 words, I don't know. If I hadn't talked to my mom about the post office thing, and I want her to have her mail, so and it takes a week for a change of address to go through. My mom's so out of it. Between the bank thing and the mail thing and whatnot, I never told my mom that Auntie had done these things. And my aunt needs to face, my mother needs to face reality that Auntie was reported to the elder abuse people in regards, who were already investigating her. When my cousin had called, she found out it was an ongoing investigation that was still open, that was going on while my mom was fighting Auntie and seeing a lawyer and whatnot, And my mom has to face the facts that Elder Services has that on Auntie. And I told my mom, it's Auntie's own damn fault. Elder Services wouldn't even have gotten involved. They were already involved. No. They were actually, they were too busy, and until the mail bank thing happened, they weren't actively involved. That created an emergency situation. That was Auntie's own damn fault, Mama. If she hadn't done that, she'd left well enough alone and allowed me to continue paying the bills and not fucked with me and whatnot and lied to my mom. And even though my mom, to this day, doesn't believe that she lied to her, doesn't want to hear it, even when I get her to admit stuff. She just doesn't want to hear it. Cognitive dissonance. Alright,